All right, so for my thesis, I am looking at the interaction between pathogens, people, and pollution in freshwater mountain ecosystems of the Sierra Nevadas of California. So for those of you who don't know, the Sierra Nevadas, it's a mountain range that runs north and south along California's easternmost border, and spanning almost the entire length of the state, actually. And it's home to a variety of amphibian species, including salamanders, frogs, and newts. So one thing that's important to note about amphibians is they're currently going through the world's 6th mass extinction. This is mostly due to a fungal pathogen called Batrachochytrium dendropatitis. I'll call that BD from here on out. It disrupts osmosis in amphibians and leads to cardiac arrest, essentially. So some of you may be wondering, well, what's the point? Like, why do we care if amphibians are dying? Amphibians are really important in ecosystems. They're a source of pest control because they eat a lot of insects. They're also prey for species higher up the food chain. And even more importantly, they're ecological indicators. So that means they're very sensitive to changes in the environment. This is because they breathe through their skin. So they kind of let us know if an environment is healthy or not. So that's all great, but what do I want to look at? Well, there is a need for a comprehensive analysis for the history of BD invasion, so when it first came to the Sierra Nevadas. So I will be looking at historical specimens and trying to track when and where it first got introduced. Following that, I wish to capture current data on BD prevalence, so what percentage of the population has BD, along with infection intensities, so how much BD is on each amphibian, in multiple underlooked species in the Sierra Nevadas, because there are plenty, well not plenty, there are a couple of species that people have really, really looked at, but we need a broader picture. So that's great. But then what do I want to look at from there? So I would like to look at patterns, or the lack thereof, between people and the disease dynamics of amphibians in the Sierra Nevada region. So human impacts can include fish stocking, simple habitat destruction due to development, roads, canals, buildup of nutrients like phosphorus and nitrogen in water systems. So I would like to look at all of that, which can be termed the human footprint in relation to BD disease dynamics. You probably guessed there's a little more. Pollution. So when people think of pollution in the Sierra Nevadas, there's been a ton of work on pesticide use. But one thing that's very unique to the Sierra Nevada mountain range is its history of gold mining. Gold mining released a cascade of mercury into mountain ecosystems, and there haven't been a lot of studies that have been looking at the interaction, or lack thereof, we don't know, between mercury and pesticides and BD. Does it alter the skin microbiome of amphibians, which is like the group of symbiotic bacteria on the amphibian skin, which is, we're finding out, very important in fighting the BD infection? Does it alter aquatic microbiomes? Does it alter whether or not they are more or less susceptible to BD? So there are tons of questions that can be asked. So in combination with all this, I am looking at the Sierra Nevadas because they are freshwater ecosystems there that are very sensitive to change. And by better understanding the human's use of the mountains, we can create management strategies to help better promote public understanding and improve conservation measures. So that's it.